Yep, final section. I have just come from telling you guys my sister's reaction. So my sister's reaction, she became very feral, whatever we say feral cat. She became wild, very easily triggered. And my sister is a spitting image. Blue is a spitting image of Dr. K. So they're both tall. They both speak with power, with authority. So interestingly enough, that was his match. He met his match in Blue because Blue would give hapo hapo, where he says something that doesn't make sense, those repeating insults. By the time we were in Form 4, my sister would challenge him there immediately and he would cower, he would disappear. Well, me, on the other hand, I'm never one to like verbal confrontation. I'm not really gifted. Let me say I'm not really as gifted as Blue. Blue is so fantastic. She would win a medal. For me, I internalize it and I act. You see, so my sister, that was another effect. So anyone who's gone through it, I think maybe you see yourself in some of the effects that this had. So I think I've mentioned we stopped reacting. We started to. I don't know if I've mentioned this, but we stopped reacting and we started to maintain blank faces. And remember, I told you this was an agreement between me and Blue. Like, we're not going to react anymore. We're going to maintain a very blank face because we felt like if you react, you're giving him more power. So we maintain a blank face. Like, what you're saying is nothing new. And interestingly enough, he would now try to hammer more and more and more. It's like his point is not coming across, which would show us like, this guy is getting pleasure out of demeaning us. Yeah, so we also started to fight back verbally. Fighting back doesn't mean throwing the same insults. It means challenging the thing he has said. And this is now the difference between me, my sister, and my stepma. Stepma could never. She would get a blow of the millennium. For me and my sister, we could, because yeah, we were going to leave anyway. Like, it almost felt like we were dealing with a stranger. Like, you've made your point, so like, do your worst. We totally don't care. So we're not really afraid. He was physically huge, almost 6 feet something, actually 6 feet something. But as daughters, we had lost respect for him, totally, 100%. We had full respect for other people. Like in the previous videos, I mentioned my uncle, Maurice. Those were father figures. And thank heavens, because we had already experienced people like those, like wonderful father figures, this was now a joke. You see, it was now like you're living in a ring with someone, and it's like, what is this? And thankfully also for our hormonal time during when we were teenagers, because you're like, of all the other stresses life could give, you can't insult me every day. Like, what is this? Anyway, but another negative effect was that there was a lot of self blame, because you see, to be insulted, this is a law, especially among women. To be insulted, you see two women insulting each other, somebody has done something to deserve the insult. But with him, you get these insults free of charge. So as a child or as a teenager, you think, but I'm being insulted. These insults are being repeated. They're coming from a person of authority. They must be true. So unfortunately, there's a lot of self-blame that comes, you see. And then, as I mentioned before, this insults, this demeaning, this belittling, it now started to become normal for me and Blue. And by the time we were in the 4th year with him, anytime we would be in the presence of someone who would praise us, the praise would seem like a lie and the insult would seem normal, totally normal. It took a very long time. It took years to undo that, especially after therapy, for us to undo that thought and for the therapist to say, what you guys went through, that's not normal. And it's not normal to think the person who's praising you was telling you a good thing is a lie, is a liar, or that thing is a lie. So that's an interesting effect. I don't know if those of you who have gone through this, you've also had the same effect. And then we also thought that good fathers are pretending, with the exception of Uncle Maurice. That was an angel in our hearts. But we would see good fathers on visiting day, visiting our friends, and we would think, these ones are putting on like a show. Because we had normalized abuse so long, the people who are good were like, it's like, you wonder, why is he pretending like that? So this narcissistic abuse for 4 years skewed our perception of reality. So what's normal, you start to see it as abnormal. What's not normal, you start to see it as normal. And then another interesting effect for me, especially, I was naturally and I would say easily passing those exams. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I've never been someone who sits down and studies for a long time. When I would hear the lesson once, I would understand. But my let's say Dr. K made it so clear that passing exams, passing exams was important to him. When you pass exams, you make him look good. That's the last thing we wanted to do. So you cannot abuse us in the house. You cannot insult us and demean us, and then we do anything on earth that makes you look good. So from the second year of high school, studying stopped. At that point, you don't think to yourself, this is affecting my life. No, no, no. Maybe other people think, oh, I should work hard for my future. There's no future when you're living inside emotional hell. There's nothing like that. So any form of study stopped. Well, I didn't used to study hard anyway, but any form of trying due to study and pass exams stopped, because any passing exams would be like, it would give him, how do I say, it would look good for him. So I absolutely stopped. Ironically, by some grace, I was still topping my class up to the end of the fourth year of high school. And I passed that exam. I was still top of my class. And I'm telling you, this is how weird it is. What like that kind of growing up in that kind of situation does to you. I was like, man, it's not enough shame for him. Like, I needed him to feel ashamed. But my results were good-ish, not as good as if I actually bothered with studying. And the same for Blue, we just didn't bother. I was reading my French. The school didn't offer French. I was reading French books. I just didn't care. It needed, because we wanted to do things now that it's like a form of protest, because no one understands and no one is asking. So why bother? Why bother? Because you're going to bother, then you're going to be insulted. If you look good and get the A's, he's going to look good and still insult you. So why bother? So it's an interesting, now that I think of it, I would tell my younger self, bro, do your best for yourself. But I know in that situation, there's no your best for yourself. It's life and death there. And then, so another effect for us was that insults meant nothing. And up to this day, that's an effect, because I don't think there's anybody who can insult me anything that can penetrate. There's just nothing. We've heard every single thing. And as I've told you, I'm not going to mention some of them here because they're too heavy, but insults don't really do it for me. Yeah, so that's another effect. So those who have gone through such trauma, maybe it's the same for you as well. So in this final section, I'm going to talk about the lessons that I've learned, and also now the message I'd like to pass to the people who are going through this. Stay tuned.